And then they're just going to duck down over the top of the hills to begin their display. And they open their display with a 100-foot, 350-knot pass along the crowd line.
I can't actually see the screen because of the sun.
They'll have the bomb bay door
so I just
open,
have to guess.
and from there they're going to break into a normal circuit height manoeuvre.
Jesus, he's got it wound right up.
Beautiful. It's amazing when we see the smaller aircraft flying around. Obviously, they can turn in such a small area, but these T-56 Allison engines are superb, and the aircraft is designed to be very manoeuvrable. So you can see that even for a big aircraft, it stays quite close to the engine. Nice, number 6 Squadron. They'll be back later for their display, so I'll talk more about them then. And so he's got airborne. Right, what we're looking for now, the P3 is going to reposition. He's going to come around and descend for a slow pass this time. So this one will be slightly higher, 300 feet, and back at 160 knots. So just less than half the speed he came through at before. He's going to have his flap and gear down and the bomb bay door open. So this will be a really good photo opportunity. While they're positioning, some history on 5 Squadron for you, ladies and gents. They were formed in 1941. And the reason for their formation was that the New Zealand Air Force was finding and experiencing a rapid need to expand due to the threat of an inevitable war in the Pacific. They were initially based in Fiji with Vincent aircraft, and then they had 4 quite elderly at the time short Singapore flying boats. So they've seen quite a variation of aircraft between that and our P3. It only served for a short period of time. The squadron was actually disbanded in 1942, but the war was still raging on. So they reformed again in Fiji in 1944, this time flying the Catalina. Okay, so we've completed this 360-degree turn now. The pilot, Squadron Leader Nick Cooper, today is bringing the aircraft back around. At the end of this, I'm expecting him to level his wings, level out, and then perform a dumbbell manoeuvre. So they'll be off to the left-hand side, and it's just a repositioning manoeuvre, and it will hopefully take the form of a left turn, although he might prove me to be wrong. And if you look at what he's repositioning, then you'll look to the right-hand end of the runway, and you can see the 5 yellow CT-4E air trainers of the red checkers. They're lining up, and they're going to be departing to display for us soon. So we already talked about how in the 40s the aircraft and 5 Squadron were based in Fiji. In 1966 they moved to Whanuapai up in Auckland, which is where they are now based from. And it was around that time that they took delivery of the 5 new, at the time, Lockheed Orions. So this is a reasonably venerable aircraft. It's been flying with the Air Force for quite a lot of time. The Orion is also used in many different Air Forces around the world, especially popular with the United States Air Force and United States Army.
Navy.
And one thing that a lot of people don't realise, I think, about our Air Force of today, since the Strike Fleet was disbanded, is quite how much international work the Air Force is involved in. So as he gives us a big pass through here, give him a wave. Nick, Dave, Justin, Dolly, Steve and Tony in the back. These guys spend months and months of their year away from home. They deploy to various theatres of operation, as well as patrolling our inshore and external waters. And I think one of the reasons we don't really think too much about the Air Force anymore is because they're not as visible as they used to be. They tend to be deployed all over the world.